What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel.
Hello.
It's a wide angle day, he's back. Day hasn't started as we hoped, and it started on Friday actually. I've got a load of mandrel bends coming, which we're going to use to sort out the exhaust on GIXIT and the collector as well. It's been delivered, and it was delivered on Friday afternoon. Trouble is, I was at work and it's in the office and there's no bugger in there to let me in. He was going to drop it in here and he didn't. So he's getting a slap on Monday. So we're going to start out with the oil cooler, but I wanted to show this. That's 1.5mm stainless steel, which I bent in the tube bender, and it did that.
Factory.
I've never bent stainless steel in that before, and I took the best guess, and it didn't work. So we stepped up to 2mm wall thickness, and it's better, but it's still rippled, which means it ain't good enough.
You can even see it in the die.
It ain't good enough. Actually, if we were talking about chopping it off there, we might get a collector out of that. We might. You never know. We might be giving that a bash. I don't know. But anyway, so we need the mandrel bends to do the exhaust, and I can't get to them. So we're on the oil cooler. We need to get that mounted. Either way, it needs to go on. So it's getting done first, and then we'll do other stuff later. Right, let's get on with it. Right then, after lots of cocking about, we finally got the two bits of tube where they need to go. It's just a tube with a captive nut welded in, dressed down. We've got them coped to match the frame, so now we've just got to get them tacked in place. So, you is holding it and I is welding it.
Is this the bit where I go, ouch, ouch, I've just been burnt?
No, this is the bit where you keep your eyes closed so you don't go blind. Blinder. Right, so. Right, this is going to take a lot of dressing in because I've got a few gaps and stuff to fill up here, but I want it to kind of scoop out to this tube that we put in. So it's going to be a case of like blobbing weld on and everything else and then dressing it in, and I want it to follow that radius. So it's on, it's straight, it all fits and everything.
It fits,
but
it fits nice.
I ain't dressing it in until I've just got a frame.
No, I agree, because once you can move the frame up and around on the bed to make it a lot easier to get to.
So it looks ugly as hell, but it's on. Shall we shove the oil cooler in and see what it looks like? Still got the bottom mounts to do. It ain't going anywhere. It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's level, which is nice.
Makes a change.
It makes a change, a cheeky git. We can have them bolts out the frame now. I don't need them anymore. Right. Exhaust headers tubing still isn't here, which I'm getting quite annoyed about that now. He said he was going to be shoving it in the shop, and he didn't. That don't even fit, does it?
He can shove a length up in, mate.
Oh, I'll put a nut on the back, didn't I, goon? Right, okay.
Happy with that, mate.
So when we get so that clears all the AM fittings and everything.
Well, they just run down the side of the frame, don't they?
So these are coming out, and I've got some 90-degree bends and 45-degree bends coming.
Yeah.
So 90 there. It's not going to be 90 there, but this goes up a little bit actually, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But where it goes into the collector, it's probably going to be a 90. Sorry, a little less than 90. And then the collector's going to sit quite low, because we've got that stupid sump, haven't we?
Yeah, but that's why we're going down the one side, aren't we? Because it's
going to be down here.
It's deeper on the right hand side.
So what I could do with then is making up a plate that's got 4 holes in it, that's that diameter, that we can position at the front of where the collector's going to go, so I've got somewhere to aim the headers at.
Yeah.
Are we doing outsides coming into the top or into the bottom of the collector? Because it makes that shape at the bottom, either do that or do that. What do you want? On my Bandit, on Asbo, the middle ones come down to the bottom of the collector, and then the side ones come in and kind of go behind it.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
I'm just trying to think whether it looked better, the outside ones on the bottom or the top. Because it's going to be offset, if anything, isn't it? It's going to be offset to run down one side of the frame.
Well, it don't have to be. Don't, because the front bit there is basically flat, and the sump doesn't start until, that dip in the sump isn't until after the oil lines. So you can have it where you want. I think it'd look better in the middle, because that way when you
outside in the middle.
No, I mean the collector in the middle rather than offset to one side like my bike.
It would, I think, yeah.
Can we do that then? Oh, we can have it as far. I need to get the collector made, because then we can see how long it's going to be. That determines where it's going to be on the bike. It determines bloody everything, but I can't do that until the mandrel bends get
No, we knew we were stuck. We said that first thing this morning when we had no bends. Because everything comes off those bends.
Well, I don't know, see, because on a faired bike, it kind of comes down like that to a point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And on Asbo, the centre 2 headers is longer, so you get that sort of shape as you look at it from the front.
But if you look at the original GSXR headers from that year, they came down, and the 4 pipes basically came down into sort of like some oval section tube with a collector that then came back, and you had the exhaust coming out on one side, and the GSXR 1100 same year in 1991 had the same collector, 2 pipes going into it, and then it would flare off into a exhaust to the side.
Are we changing the exhaust design again then?
No, but the point I'm making is
because we could do that. We could do that. Because we're making a collector now, we don't really give a monkey. So we could have 4 pipes come straight down, and then so they all come in level, and then they all merge into one single link pipe. So you don't get the stacked 2 on 2. It's 4 in a line that then all go back into one.
Yeah, because basically, if you imagine a piece of tube, but
yeah, I know
sort of
what you
like
mean.
it was basically like a flat oval.
Would you want to do that? We could do that.
I talk about aesthetics and how pleasing stuff looks with really no idea, but quite like the idea of all the pipes coming down vertically.
The only thing is you're going to have oil lines like that. Not these oil lines, because these are huge. So exhaust, if you want to do it a flat 4 into 1,
well, it'll still be into 1 because we can't do anything else. Just a chain and
yeah, we're doing 1. That's fine. If it's a flat 4 into 1, it's going to have to go lower than that, obviously, and then it's going to have to go into 54mm, which again we could do. That's fine.
Well, we just need to have a 54mm outlet. And we can biscuit cut it.
Biscuit cut it.
Yeah.
What's a biscuit cut?
Cut little triangles, and we can make that as the outlet for the collector.
Hey? So I'm not with you. You got a doodle again, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'll tell you about KFC the other day.
No.
There was, on the way home one time, I was dropped off at KFC just to get some scoff because I wasn't going to have time to cook anything. I had to wait for the food to come out because it wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Pulled up next to this transit van in the bit where you wait for your food to come out, and this fella, he's undone his window, tapped on the window, rolled the window down. Oh, help! And he just goes, "Sand. You should have put sand in the tube." He's on about this.
You're joking?
No, I didn't catch his name or anything. Big fella he was. But yeah, everybody's saying I should have put sand in it, which is fair comment. I've never bent stainless on that tube bender, so we just had to go to see what was what.
I've never bent stainless, full stop. So.
But it's a lot different to mild steel.
Yeah.
But
a lot.
what we've got the mandrel bends coming. They're in the office. I can't get to them, so I can't even start the headers today. That's going to have to wait until Monday.
But we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We know what's going where.
And this actually cleans up quite nice.
It does.
This is a donation from Simon Rolls, as was the throttle, which is on and fits, and there's no gaps or anything else. So we're going to be using that one. But this is an old R1 link pipe.
Apparently so, yeah.
And we've had a sneaky idea about tailpipes and stuff, so this is going to get reused. We just need a few odds and sods to make it happen. Chris Stevens, he's another fella. He's been chipping in quite a bit recently. But he said there's a company called Western Tidans based at Ivy Bridge, and they do, it's not mandrel bends, I can't remember how they actually make them or anything, but they do different bends, different diameters, centre line radius and all that other stuff.
You're saying about the hydroform, where they...
No, it's not hydrofoil, it's, I'll have to look it up, I can't remember what it is now.
I'll have a look as well.
But I'm probably going to get some of them just because they might help squirrel this up underneath and get it into that collector.
Mm.
So, got the metal to make a jig, to cut the tube, to make the headers, to make the collector, but I can't do any of it until Monday. So I ain't releasing this video tomorrow like what I planned.
No, that's sort of rubbed it.
I need some quality time with the TIG torch, that's what I need. Right. Right then, it is now Thursday. This week is just getting away from me. Been mucking about with the lathe at the start of the week, so that's all good. You'll see an awful lot more of this. Also went to the office and picked up the mandrel bends which turned up. These are really nice, really nice. I got 8 at 90 degrees and 4 45 degrees. I'm probably going to need to get some more of these just to do the collector. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, these are really good. If you have a look, I mean, they're about as lovely as it's going to get. There's no deformation in it at all. You know, it's just the easy way to do it, isn't it? Quite a tight centre line radius on these as well. Let's just have a look and see how circular they are. But there's no way I could do this with the kit that I've got. So what have we got here? $38 dead. 3801. 3801. And then where it goes around here, 38.2. 37.6. So there is a very slight deformation as it goes around here. Not that you can feel it really. But you know, when they bend it, you're still asking the outside of the tube to stretch and the inside to compress. There is a tiny little step in it, but nothing worth speaking about really. I did have a look at the, who is it, Chris? He mentioned Western Tidans. I'll give them a call, because I was thinking, well, I don't know, I mean, if they've got an option, then I might go for that. I'm not getting them. I'm not getting them. I phoned the fella up, told him what I was doing, told him what I wanted to do. And he says, well, yeah, you could definitely use it to make an exhaust. However, the way that they're made is basically there's two halves of the tube which are shaped, put together, and they're welded. And he did say the welding's not that great. You will have to dress it up a little bit and you will have to fill in some nicks and stuff. And if you cut it on the bend, it's definitely not going to be a perfect circle. And it needs to be a perfect circle because we want as good a fit up as we possibly can get when you're going to TIG it and everything else. And I don't want anything misshaped or anything else like that. So I'm not going with them. They are a little bit cheaper. These were £7 a pop. The ones from this other place was like £5.50 or £5 plus the VAT or something. It's not a great deal in it, so I'm just sticking with mandrel bends. That's what I'm doing. This is just a bit of U-section, so 40 by 20, and the idea is I can use this to make a jig, because that'll fit in there. I'll figure out some way of clamping it and shove it through the bandsaw. So I should be able to mount this direct onto the bandsaw, and then it just means every cut I make is going to be the same. And if it's off by a couple of degrees, then they're all going to be wrong. Right, this is the clamp device on my little bandsaw. It's not the biggest and best, but it cuts pretty straight. It's not so shabby. However, we do have a little bit of an issue in that blade doesn't run right down the middle of that groove in the casting. And basically, when I'm cutting this tube up, I'm going to need to cut it in the right place so I can weld it back together again and dress it back to a seamless finish. Basically, if you imagine this curve carries on around and it goes into a circle like that, okay? When it's held in the vise, the blade needs to pass through the centre of that circle and then carry on straight all the way to the outside of the tube. That way, when you've cut it and you look on the end of the cut, it's going to be circular like this. So I can take another bit of tube, be it straight or whatever, and just stick it on and weld it straight to it. If it's up at an angle, say like this, and we cut it, the end opening is going to be more of an ellipse than a circle, and I ain't going to be able to weld the two together. So I need some way of getting this in the right place, left and right, and also sort of that orientation as well, sort of up and down. So when I cut it, I end up with a circle on the end and not an ellipse. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is getting some of that U-section. I can take reference across here with a digital protractor and set that to 0, so that's all fine. Then I'll get some of that U-section, which this will sit in, and it will come down like that. So I know if the tube is touching on both sides, then that's one reference point I've got. So then all I need to be able to do is to decide, okay, what sort of angle I need to cut it at. If I know this is flat, which it is, and I set this to 0, all I need to do is take a reading off this slope and this slope, make sure they're the same, and job's a good one. As far as where the bandsaw comes down and actually makes its cut as well, what I'll do is I'll mark up a centre line on that U section, drop the blade down so it sits exactly on that, that centre line. I can use the end stop just to, you know, in and out and make sure it's all where it needs to be. And I think the combination of those 3 steps, we should be able to chop the tube up and get it pretty bloody close, if not spot on. So that's what I'm doing. Right then, that's my collector done then, isn't it? Not. Oh, I've got lumps in my coffee. This is just a dummy collector. Basically, I'm going to stack them one on top of the other. I'll just weld some sort of support down the side, just so I've got, you know, a little bit of depth to it. That way, when I pass the tube through the... Oh, hello, why aren't you going to... Oh, it's the bent bit. Oh, you'll do. Yeah, so when I pass the tube through, it's kind of square, if that makes sense. Rather than if I just did one, you know, it could be sort of wherever it wanted to be. So we'll stack them like that. I'll put some sort of support in either side, probably on all 4 actually. Maybe in the corners, don't really know. But then that can just get mounted on the bike, just temporary. So I've got something to aim the headers at when Steve-O's down at the weekend and we can get his exhaust done. So that'll do to start off with. You can go back in the box. Right, so he's all tacked up. The idea is that as I bring the headers down, this bit is going to get mounted onto the bike, just as a target, basically. So as I start bringing the headers down, then I've just got something to aim at. Come on, there we go. So the outside 2 pipes is going to be coming in behind the inside 2, so it's going to be something like that. You get the gist. And it just means that once I've got everything fed through, I can mark it down the middle here on each tube, and I just know that everything is going to line up ready for a collector, and I'll just have the spacing on the collector the same as this template. That'll be all right. That'll be fine. That'll help no end. It's just rather than have headers dangling about in the breeze, I'd rather feed them into something just so I know from there to there it's going to be square and it's going to be equally spaced, and it's just going to make construction of the collector an awful lot easier. Right. Okay, Steve-O was down at the weekend. We got bugger all done again. However, we did change up a few little bits and pieces. So, that dummy collector that I made just to aim all the headers out, we're not going with that, we're going with this one now. All we've done is we cut 40mm lengths of tube off, jam them in there. Got them basically level. And I've got a little piece of stainless which is going to get welded in the middle. I'll take that on in a second. I just need to notch out a couple of sort of dents in the side so I can get a slightly better fit. And then we're going to weld that in there. Because this is so tight, the headers are going to have to sleeve into this. But, you know, that ain't going to be a problem, I don't think. I've got some 35mm OD tube coming, so we can sleeve the headers and they'll slot in here quite nicely because these are 35s. So I just need to notch that out. Then we can get that ticked in place and then I can tick it all the way around. That's the plan anyway.